Hello, third graders. For Fun Friday, I am going to have you do a project today called Building a Baby Flower. And I love this lesson when we have it at school because it's a chance for you to review all the things you've been learning about genotypes and phenotypes and dominant traits and recessive traits. And so here's some pictures of some tulips, and you can see that tulips come in a lot of variety. And what we've been learning is that genetics is what makes this happen. Even plants have mothers and fathers, and we're going to learn that in our plant unit, how plants can reproduce and have what's called offspring, or we could call them baby flowers. And depending on the genes that the baby inherits, the babies can look different, just like animals and people. So we're going to use two fictitious or made-up plants. So this is the mother plant, and this is the father plant. And you can see they look exactly the same. They have the same genotypes, the same codes. But what is going to be really interesting about this project is that they have some recessive genes that a baby plant might inherit. So the baby might look exactly like mom and dad, or the baby might look a little different if the baby inherits some of those recessive genes. So what you're going to need for today's project are 2 pieces of paper, a pencil, and then you're going to either need some crayons or markers. And there's 4 colors that you need. You need yellow, green, red, and orange. Yellow and green are for the stem and the leaves, and the red or orange are the 2 varieties that you could use for the flowers. Now, if you don't have those at your house, you can pick 2 different colors. You'll just have to decide which one is dominant and which one is recessive. And my examples that I'll use are going to use those colors. So you can pause and go get your materials. You need 2 pieces of paper, a pencil, a yellow, green, red, and orange crayon or marker, or you can just get 4 different color crayons or markers. All right, so go ahead and get your materials, press play when you're ready to go on with the activity. All right, welcome back. I think that this must mean you're ready. So here is my lesson on building a baby flower.
Okay, so third graders, we are going to build our baby flower now. Now, if you were at school, you would be able to pick the genes randomly, but since you're at home, you're going to have some choices to make. I'm going to do it the random way, but you can actually pick the genes. So the first thing we're going to start with is our baby's stem length. So here I have the genes for the father and the mother, and what I'm going to do is reach in and randomly select a gene. So I'm going to go into the father bag, and I got a dominant trait, so it's the big A, and then I'm going to reach and take a gene from the mother, and open my hand, and I got another dominant, which is another big A. So my baby's genotype will be big A, big A. So I'm going to write that on my paper. For stem length is big A, big A. Now, what you guys get to do is you get to choose. So first, on your piece of paper, write stem length, and then decide, do you want the baby to get a big A or a little a from the father? So pick one. And then pick a gene from the mother. So write down if the mother is going to give big A or little a. And that'll be your genotype. So you should have either written big A, little a, or little a, little a. Now, important. Big A means tall, little a means short. So for my genotype, big A, am I going to have a tall baby or a short baby? I hear you guys. You're saying that's going to be tall. So there's my first trait. I'm going to have a tall baby. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the second one, which is stem color. So again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to reach in and pick my father trait. And it is a little g. Then I'm going to reach in and pick a trait from the mother's. And that one is also a little g. So my stem color is going to be little g, little g. Now what does that mean? Well, big G is a green stem and little g is a yellow stem. So if my genotype is little g, is my baby going to have a green stem or a yellow stem? Exactly, yellow. Now, you get to choose your phenotype. So for the father, you're going to write down either big G or little g, so pick your gene. And for the mother, you are going to write down big G or little g. So pick your trait and figure out if your baby has a green stem or a yellow stem. Now at this point, I like to draw my phenotype. So I'm going to take my second piece of paper where I'm drawing my flower, and I'm going to make a tall yellow stem. So I'm going to draw. Now if you have crayons, you can use crayons. I have some markers I found around my house, and my stem is yellow. So that's what my baby looks like so far. If you ever need to pause this video, you can just press pause and come back to it. All right, now, does my baby have thorns or no thorns? So again, it's the same thing. I need a gene from the mother and from the father. Thorns is the dominant trait, and no thorns is the recessive. So I reach in, take out a little t, reach in and take out a big T. So I'm going to record my genes for thorns, and I have big T, little t. So you have to think, if I have one dominant gene and one recessive gene, which trait shows up? The dominant gene will always overshadow the recessive gene, which means I am going to have thorns. So now I can draw some thorns on my plant. Okay. All right, what kind of flower shape is the baby going to have? Now, I don't think my flower is probably going to look like these, but if we were at school and we were actually cutting and pasting this flower, these are the two possibilities, the two variations of flower shape. So it's more like petals, and this one looks more like a rose to me. That's kind of what the mom and dad look like. And so these are the possible things that could happen. So the rose shape is dominant, and the daisy shape is recessive. So from the father, I'm going to pull out the recessive, a little r. And from the mother, I'm going to pull out another little r. So my flower shape is little r. And so if I have little r, my phenotype, is it going to be a rose shape or a daisy shape? Two recessives will make the recessive trait show up, so I will have a daisy shape. I'm kind of happy it's easier for me to draw. All right, and I'll put these back in, and I kind of want to find out the color right now. So the next one is flower color. I like to know the color before I draw. So the father, actually the two variations, this one can be red or orange. Father is an uppercase B, this is dominant, and mother is a lowercase b. So I'm going to record my flower color, which will be big B, little b. If my genotype is big B, little b, I have a dominant and a recessive trait. My phenotype, will it be red or orange? It will be red, because the dominant gene will always overshadow the recessive gene. So now I'm going to draw this. So I get to draw a red daisy. Now if you don't have red and orange, you could use two different colors. Just make sure you know which one is recessive and which one is dominant before you start. All right, now we have leaves left to do. So the two variations for leaf shape are supposed to be pointy leaves or round leaves. And you can draw those however you want. The round leaves are dominant and the pointy leaves are recessive. My trait for my father is lowercase e, and my trait for my mother is uppercase e. So for me, I'm going to have leaf shape, big E, little e. And will that be round or pointy? It will be round because the dominant trait overshadows. Now you need to pick which one you have. Did mom give a big E or a little e, and did dad give a big E or a little e? So write down yours. And then we're going to find out what the leaf color is. The leaf color could be green or yellow. So I'm going to reach in and choose a little H from the father's bag, and from the mother's bag, also a little H. So my leaf color will be little h, little h. So will I have green leaves or yellow leaves? Both are recessive, so I end up with yellow leaves. Now you need to pick your genotype. Are you going to get a big H or a little h from father and a big H or a little h from mother? And then you write that down, and then you come over to your picture, and I need to draw round yellow leaves. Color them in. And this is what my baby flower ended up looking like. I cannot wait to see what your baby flower looks like.
Okay, so now I hope you guys had a lot of fun designing and drawing your baby flower. If you need time to catch up because you haven't had a chance to draw it yet, or you need to go back and look again at the video so that you can pick your traits, you can. So remember, you're picking a genotype for each of those traits, and then you're drawing a picture, that's the phenotype, to show what genotype you chose. And I know that you can't put your hand in the bag and pick it, so you're just choosing which one you want it to be. All right, and when you're done, you're going to have one piece of paper that looks like this with all of your traits and all of your genotypes and all of your phenotypes, and then you'll have a picture of your baby flower. Now, my baby flower looks a lot different from its parents. If I go back and look at mom and dad flowers, there are some traits that my baby inherited. My baby is red, just like mom and dad. My baby has round leaves, just like mom and dad. My baby has a long stem, is a tall plant, just like mom and dad. And my baby has thorns. But there's something about my baby, two traits, that are different from his parents. The traits that are different is that my baby is a daisy shape, and my baby has a yellow stem and yellow leaves, which were recessive traits that didn't show up in the parents, but they showed up in the baby. And so that is a way for you to see how traits are passed on from mom and dad to the baby. So have fun with your project. If you can take a picture and send it to me, I would love to see it. You can email it to lsherman@mahonison.org. You don't have anything else to turn in today, and if you can't take a picture, that's okay. I'll see it sometime when we get back to school, and you can just hang it up at your house. Next week, we're going to start learning about plants, which is one of my favorite topics to teach about. So we're going to have a really fun lessons next week. So have a great weekend, and I hope you had fun building your baby plant.